today I'm going to share with you a complete guide to starting your meditation practice. So, of course, this is going to be perfect for you if you're a beginner, but if you already practice and you want to brush up on some concepts, I feel like this will be highly beneficial for you as well, okay? So the areas that we're going to cover are why you should meditate, what are the benefits of meditation, what is meditation, then we're going to look at how to meditate. I'll share with you an exact step-by-step technique and a full guided meditation to go along with that. And then we'll explore what you should expect when you're starting your practice, and most importantly, how to become consistent, how to make meditation a habit. I know this is something that a lot of people struggle with because you meditate for a bit and then you don't for really long. The habit doesn't stick. So how can we get it to stick? We're going to explore that as well. Okay, let's begin. All right, so the first question that we're answering is, why should you meditate? Now the answer here is really simple. Why do you take a shower? To clean your body, right? Same reason for meditation, to clean our mind. We clean our body every single day because if we know that it gathers dust and dirt every day, if we don't clean it, it's going to start smelling, it's unhygienic, and it can lead to poor health. In the same way, the mind needs to be cleaned every day. The mind is just a subtle part of the body, and it also gathers its own version of dirt and dust every day. It's not physical, but it's in the form of mental impressions that we take on from all of our senses, all of our daily interactions, all the scrolling that we do, all the Netflix that we watch, positive interactions, negative interactions, things that we've heard, all of that goes into our mental surface and forms impressions. And these also need to be cleared for good mental health, because if they're not cleared, then it leads to a lot of mental clutter. It leads to stress, overthinking, the inability to think clearly, and unprocessed emotions. So cleaning this every day, bringing the mind back to its natural state, just like we bring the body back to its natural state, is really, really good mental hygiene. That's a great reason to practice meditation. So that is the simple and common sense reason to meditate. But there is also another answer, the real answer, in fact, what the spiritual traditions will tell you, like yoga or the Buddha's teachings. We meditate in order to come back home to our true nature. Now, what does this mean? This simply means that beyond our thinking monkey mind, there is our pure and natural mind, right? Kind of like when you go to a cinema and you watch a movie. The movie is playing, right? That's the thinking mind. But it's playing on something. It's playing, actually, if someone turns a projector off, you'll see that it's playing on a white screen, a pure white screen. In the same way, beyond your thinking mind, beyond all that chatter, there is this pure and natural mind. And that actually has inherent qualities. Do you know what those qualities are? I did not believe this the first time I heard it, but people like the Buddha, who have not only accessed that mind, but lived their life from it as an awakened being, tell us that the qualities of our true nature, our pure mind, are love, compassion, wisdom, clarity, peace. Love, compassion, clarity, wisdom, peace. These are our natural qualities. And if we can touch this inner state of ours, this natural true nature of ours, then if we can live from there, then life becomes a much more joyful experience, a much more peaceful experience. We can live with ease instead of living in a stressed out way. Okay, so I'm not there yet. I'm definitely not claiming to be there yet, but this is why we meditate, and this is work that all of us need to do, essentially, to live happy. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what are some of the benefits of meditation, some quick and immediate benefits that you can begin to experience, within a short time of practicing. The first one that you obviously know is low stress. I like to call this, when you meditate, you go from feeling stressed to feeling calm and fresh. Okay, so why does meditation reduce stress? Very simply, the first thing it does is that it will reduce the amount of mental chatter. Simple. The less thoughts you have over here, the less that's going on over here, the calmer you are, the more peaceful you are. But not only does it reduce the mental chatter, it also changes your relationship with your thoughts. Now, what does that mean? That means that right now, because we have not trained the mind, we take our thoughts to be real. We take them seriously, right? When a thought comes, we actually think the thought and we take it where we don't really want to go. When you meditate, you are able to create a distance between you and your thoughts, and you're able to see them for what they are. They are essentially these things that just come and go. They just come and go. They don't stick around for long if you don't pay attention to them. They're like clouds passing in a sky, essentially, right? The job of the mind is to pump out these thoughts, and when we train in meditation, we're able to actually see them come and see them go. Like an observer, you don't take them too seriously. And when we can create this kind of a distance between us and our thoughts, they don't stress us out. And then things that happen in life generally don't stress you out, because you realize that you are actually in control of your mind. You can decide what to think and you can decide not to take your thoughts that seriously. So it is liberating in essence. This is how stress is reduced when you practice meditation. All right, second benefit of meditation. This is my personal favorite, clarity. Meditation gives you immense clarity, both on a macro level and a micro day-to-day level as well. So what do we mean by this? Now, I'll give you an example from my life. When I began practicing meditation, it meant that I was essentially sitting with myself, getting to know myself, and figuring out, what do I actually want? Not what everyone else is doing. What do I want personally? And one thing I realized is that I actually do not want to be working in this 9-to-5 job that I'm in. I don't love it. I did in the past, but I don't anymore. And what I want now is to go and do something for myself, something within personal development, because I was obsessed with personal development. And I realized that the world we live in right now, with YouTube, with the internet where it is right now, if I just apply myself and take a bit of a risk, it is very possible that I could come out of my 9-to-5 job and live the life that I truly want. And that was 4 years ago. Best decision I ever made. But it wouldn't have been possible without meditation, because I would have just been doing the exact same things, going to work in the week, drinking on the weekend, being hungover, and then back at work miserable on Monday. You know, doing what everyone is doing what the herd and the crowd is doing, not being able to have space to think about what it is that you want, right? So this is a huge benefit. The second one I was saying is, on a day-to-day level, you get clarity as well. And this means that you become more conscious of how you're spending your time. Because remember, you're getting clear on your priorities. When you get clear on your priorities, you know where you want to spend your time and where you don't want to spend your time. That's clarity. And you begin to craft and design your life in that way. So in essence, with meditation and the clarity that you get, you decide what the life that you want is, and you begin to consciously create it. So in my humble opinion, that is a great benefit of practicing meditation. Okay, let's get to number 3. Number 3 is applicable to almost everyone today, and that is better sleep. Meditation will help you sleep much better than what you're sleeping at the moment. And the reason for this is simple. We live such stimulated lives, right? We're constantly looking at a screen for most of the day. And this means that we're more stimulated than we were a few decades ago. But in addition to that, modern society has no institution that is teaching you how to consciously relax your body, how to, wind down in the evening before you go to bed. No one's teaching you how to fall asleep. This basic human skill is not being taught. It's crazy, right? So the way that meditation helps is very simply doing simple practices like a body scan, yoga nidra, or calming breaths. In the meditation I'm sharing with you, by the way, there is a beautiful sequence for calming your body. You will learn essentially how to calm your body systematically, from the physical aspect of your body down to your inner systems, your emotional system, your mental system. All of these can be calmed down with meditation, and it means that you enter what is called in yoga the state of deep relaxation just through meditation itself. Then if you try and sleep after that, that's when you give yourself the gift of being able to fall into a deep and restful slumber. Because without that, you're going to sleep and, the mind is chattering away. So it's not the kind of deep rest that you need. So practicing meditation will help you sleep much better. This is huge, right? It's life-changing, because when you wake up feeling fresh, when you wake up feeling ready to take the day on, your experience of life is very different. So that's another great reason to practice meditation. Okay, so now we come to what is meditation. Now, I don't want to complicate this. Obviously, there are many different types of meditation from the various traditions, and as you progress, the practices that you do will depend on what your path is and what growth it is that you're seeking at this point in time, okay? But to start off, in any tradition, I speak from the yogic and Buddhist traditions, you will see that the most common practice in the beginning is focusing on the breath, right? This is because before we can do any other kind of meditation, we first need a calm mind and a mind that can concentrate. Just like a blunt knife is of no use to a chef, a mind that is scattered and can't concentrate is of no use to an aspiring meditator. Okay, so focusing on the breath or any simple meditation, shamatha, calm abiding, is what is done in the start. Now, although this is done in the start, I'm not implying here that this is a beginner level practice, because even no matter how advanced you are, the Buddha, after his enlightenment, practiced meditating on the breath. Okay, that's enough said. So this is a practice that will be with you lifelong, and it's definitely a great practice to learn. I do need to define what is meditation, so to keep it simple, we can say that meditation is using your mind in a specific way for a specific purpose, and doing that with awareness. Okay, awareness is key. If there's no awareness, it's not meditation. So, for example, right now you're breathing, but are you aware that you're breathing? Maybe you weren't, but now that I've said it, you become aware that you're breathing. So that is breathing meditation. Awareness of breath. The moment you're aware, you are meditating. Same thing with like listening to sounds. If, now that I've said it, are you listening to the sounds around you? Are you aware of the sounds? Do you know the sounds are there? Then that is sound meditation. You're sitting on a chair. Are you aware that you're sitting? Can you feel your bum touching the chair? If you can, then that's meditating on the body and sensations, okay? So it's awareness. Meditation essentially is awareness. That is why, for example, in the modern world, we know mindfulness, right? Thich Nhat Hanh. And he says that you can meditate anytime, anywhere, as long as you bring awareness or mindfulness to what you're doing. So that's true. Essentially, anything done with awareness or mindfulness becomes meditation, okay? But at the same time, it's recommended to give a good dedicated time for sitting practice, because it's in sitting practice that your body is totally still, and hence the mind also can follow and become totally still. Body and mind are one, they're not separate. So in order for the mind to become completely still, we need the body to be completely still, and that's why sitting practice is definitely recommended, no matter how mindful you can be during the day, okay? So that covers what is meditation. For the purpose of this video, and the practice that I'm going to be sharing with you is meditating on the breath, okay? Now, you can choose another simple technique if you want, but I would recommend the breath. This is unarguably the most recommended meditation across traditions, right? The Buddha recommended this. In yogic tradition, this is recommended. Meditating on the breath is incredible. In fact, this is so incredible that I want to tell you my 4 or 5 main reasons why meditating on the breath is amazing, okay? Because this is something that will stay with you for life. So I feel like we should definitely cover it in this video, okay? So I think there's 4 or 5 reasons that I really love. This is what they are. All right, so 5 reasons why the breath is an incredible object for meditation. Number 1, the breath is always with you. It is totally mobile. Wherever you go, the breath goes. No equipment needed. That's a great reason that the breath is the breath is a really good object for meditation, okay? Number 2 is that you do not need to exert any effort because the breath is already happening. You just need to become aware of the breath and relax and watch the breath, witness the breath. When you compare this to, for example, chanting a mantra, right, or visualization, their effort is required. You have to do it. You have to chant the mantra or build the visualization. With the breath, you don't have to do anything. It's already happening. You just have to sit and watch it. So this makes the practice deeply restful, and that is why it's a great object for meditation. The third reason is that the mind loves to be with the breath. The yogis have found that our mind actually loves to be with the breath. It loves to listen to the sound of the breath. It loves to be with the experience of the in-breath and the out-breath. In fact, the breath and the mind are so connected that one follows the other. When you'll notice when you're angry, for example, your breath is rough, short, agitated, and your mind is also rough and agitated. When you're really calm, your breathing is long, smooth, relaxed. Your mind is also relaxed. Breath and mind are connected. So if one follows the other, that means that if you change your breathing, you can change your emotional state. If you're angry and you breathe deep and slow, you can feel calm and relaxed. So this is why the breath, again, is a great object for meditation. And when you are practicing breath meditation, the very act of observing the breath, just by observing, the very act of observing the breath makes the breath smooth and long, and that makes the mind calm and relaxed. Number 4, there is no Hindu breath, Muslim breath, or Christian breath. Breath is breath. It is universal. All beings have it equally, and this makes it a great object for meditation because it is universal, it is natural, it is common to all, and hence can be practiced by all. And number 5, this is one that I have created. It's not written anywhere, but I feel like the breath is divine, because when the breath stops, for most people, life stops, right? The breath is our source of life. When we focus on the breath, when we are with the experience of breathing, we are touching the very source of existence. It is literally the source of life, the breath. So focusing on the breath, it puts you in touch with this source of existence. And when you get in touch with it, these inner qualities that we speak about, compassion, wisdom, clarity, peace, they naturally come out. In my personal experience, I found that when I practice meditating on the breath, and the way it's impacted me over time is that I've become somebody who is calmer and, okay, now it sounds like I'm bigging myself up, but a bit more compassionate than I used to be, and definitely calmer and just relaxed, more chilled in life, right? So the breath is divine. Focusing on the breath puts you in touch with this source of existence, and that is a great experience, both when you're practicing but also when you're living life, because you feel in touch with this deeper part of you. You feel connected to the universe. You feel connected to the people around you. It's easier to actually connect with people because you feel the life in them. You feel you're able to have compassion to when they're hurting, because you realize that this person is just like me. I'm human, they're human, and you feel this connectedness. Okay, that's it. So now we come to the section on how to meditate. Okay, so I will share with you exactly what you need to do, step by step. And I'm also giving you, along with this, a guided meditation for free. You have lifetime access to it. So in that meditation, I very calmly take you through the steps from how to sit, how to relax the body, your posture, and then how to start focusing on the breath and what to do after that. Okay, so make sure you download that. It's going to be really, really helpful in your initial phases to practice. But let's speak a little bit right now about what to do, right? How do you meditate? What do you do? So let's speak a little bit about how to meditate, right? What do you actually do? So the important aspect, firstly, is your posture, right? A lot of people are confused about this, I think, because of what you see on Instagram. The posture does not need to be anything fancy or anything complicated, and it definitely should not be painful, okay? So in the Yoga Sutras, the yogic scriptures, there are only two words given for posture. One is steady and the other is comfortable. Your posture should be steady and it should be comfortable. This is key, right? So sitting there with aching knees and aching back does not earn you any more points. That's not the point. You have to be very, very comfortable, okay? So you can sit cross-legged. Sitting cross-legged is the recommended posture. But if you have an inability to sit cross-legged because of your knees or back or hips, then of course you can sit on a chair as well. But having said that, I think most people can sit cross-legged, even if we've grown up in the West and you don't have the open hips that you would if you sat on an Indian toilet growing up. Then what you can do to make it more comfortable sitting cross-legged is to sit on cushions. You can use 1, 2, or 3 cushions. There are special meditation cushions that come called a zafu. If you can invest in one of those, that would help. You don't need to, right? You can use what you have at home and it works quite well. So when you elevate your buttocks, what happens is your back naturally straightens and your legs are naturally at a downward incline coming to the floor. So your knees can rest naturally on the floor and your back is really straight. So this takes the pressure off your hips, your knees, and your back. It's really comfortable. So for anyone starting, if you use cushions, you'll be able to sit comfortably without pain for at least 10-15 minutes in the start, which is a great starting point. So that's for posture. You use cushions, sit cross-legged, and be comfortable. Remember, the point is to be comfortable. Even your back, of course, it needs to be straight, but it's straight but not stiff. You shouldn't feel like you're tensing. You should be relaxed. You should be relaxed. That's the really, really important. You have to be relaxed, okay? Now, after this, once you sit in the posture and you relax a little bit, then what you can do is you can consciously relax your body. Right? In the meditation, we cover this. You do a body scan starting from your head down to your toes. Relax every single part. There are some really, really nice areas in that meditation where you relax your eyes, for example. And just taking your attention to your eyes and relaxing them, so soothing, so soothing. It's incredible. Okay, so you do this relaxation from head to toe. And after you do the relaxation, you are in a position now where you can begin to become aware of the breath. So we start with a little bit of deep breathing. The deep breathing that we do is, I heard this name in a movie and I'm calling it this, I'm stealing that name. It's called Smell the Flowers, Blow Out the Candles, okay? Smell the flowers, blow out the candles. So you're breathing like this. You're going, smell the flowers, long exhale like you're blowing out candles. Smell the flowers. Long exhale like you're blowing out candles. When you do this in breath and long exhale like you're blowing out candles, it's very soothing for your system. It's like a vacuum or a hoover that is hoovering out the excess clutter over here and reducing your mental chatter, taking you to a very calm and relaxed state. This long exhale in yogic science, right? The long exhale is what does this, because when you inhale, you're taking in. When you exhale, you are removing. So here we're removing the excess clutter, the excess chatter. So I would recommend that you start any meditation with this, doing around 10 to 20 of these smell the flowers, blow out the candles, breathing will really calm you down. Even if you don't have much time and you do just this, you'll be in a totally different state when you get up. Okay, so this is really important. And now if you have time to do the proper meditation, Then after you've done the smell the flowers, blow out the candles breath, then you can begin to now focus on your breathing. Okay, so you just focus on the breathing. Breathing in, I'm aware that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm aware that I'm breathing out. Here you're not doing anything with the breath. You're not changing the breath in any way. Here we're observing the natural breath. This is now the meditation, the anapanasati or anapanasmriti, the mindfulness of the in and the out breath. Okay, so here you don't change the breath in any way. Here you simply watch the breath. You simply observe the breath as it is happening. Okay, now what will happen is when you're doing this, of course, you'll be with the breath, and then your mind will wander. Your mind will definitely wander. Okay, so expect this to happen. And your job then is just to bring the mind back to the breathing. Your job is to try to stay with the breath. Your mind will keep wandering. When you notice that it's wandered, you just gently bring it back to the breathing without getting angry, without getting frustrated, because this is the natural process, right? If you could practice without your mind wandering, then you would be a Buddha. You would. This is, even after 5 years and 10 years of practice, your mind is going to wander, right? At least at the start when you sit down. So just be very kind and gentle with yourself and allow yourself to watch the breath as it's naturally happening. Here's a little tip or trick which works really well, okay? So here's how you can concentrate better than simply watching the breath. And what you do is you count the breathing. So counting the breathing, for some reason, helps us to concentrate much better. You can stay with the breath. And you start with small counting. So you count from 1 to 5. So breathing in 1, breathing out 1. Breathing in 2, breathing out 2. You count in this way. And when you reach 5, you come back to 1. Okay, so this is a short number so that your mind can stay there and not get lost. Now, even here, things will happen. For example, you will count to 5 and then you'll start counting 6, 7, 8 again, because that presence is not there. So you have to remember that when I reach 5, I have to go back to 1, right? Or you wouldn't even reach 5. You'll be counting 1, 2, and then a thought comes and you go away. So this is all part of the process. You have to just be very kind to yourself and try to stay with the breath. Your mind will wander. When it wanders, you come back to your natural breathing, okay? So this is the basic way in which you begin your practice, okay? Now, as you progress in your meditation, what will happen is that you'll be able to stay with the breath for longer. You'll be able to stay with the breath for longer, and you'll notice that when you're counting from 1 to 5, you can do 1 to 5, and then 1 to 5, and then many 1 to 5s, with full concentration, okay? This means it's a great sign of progress. It means that your concentration is improving. Soon there will come a time when you can actually focus without getting distracted. For example, if you use a mala to count the breathing, right? You'll be able to count the full 100 breaths, 200 breaths, 300 breaths without any change in your focus. And when you're able to do this, your feeling inside is one of extreme centeredness. You're totally with the breath. Your mind is in one place. Your thoughts have become very, very less, almost so little that you can actually see individual thoughts as they pass by. There's no longer clutter or monkey mind happening. Your thoughts have come down, and when a thought comes, you're very, very aware of it. You see it come and you see it go, okay? And the way that you're feeling is that there is full concentration, there is total clarity in the mind, and you feel like you are in control of your mind, because now your mind is, staying with the breath when you wanted to stay with the breath. This was not happening before. Before, the mind was going everywhere. Now if you decide that, okay, 300 breaths, I'm going to, focus, you're able to focus. And this is an extremely, you can say, powerful place to be, because your mind is where you want it to be, and it can stay there for as long as you want it to stay there, okay? Now, when this happens, you realize that actually it is very possible in life to be totally in control of your mind. The way this impacts your day-to-day situations is that because you have so much control and clarity in your mind, you can decide what you want to think, You can decide how you want to react to something. Things like anger, for example, they become a choice for you, right? Because you are totally in control. You're not at the mercy of your mind anymore. You're totally in control. So if you say that, okay, from today I'm not doing this, I'm not eating this junk food, or I'm not going to drink alcohol, or whatever it may be, it's much more likely that you'll stick to it because your mind power is so strong. So meditation increases your mental strength, your mind power, your resilience purely through this practice of concentration. And this makes you someone who is feeling very much in control, very confident about what you can do, because you know that, okay, no matter what I want, there are steps to get there, and I have the mental control and mind power to do what I say that I'll do. So it's very liberating, right? You can improve your relationships because anger is now a choice for you, right? You can decide not to be angry. You can decide actually to respond lovingly and kindly. And when you see the response of that when you respond in that way, that other person is actually giving you back love and kindness, then this is how the way you behave is going to change, because you understand where happiness comes from, right? Maybe I'm taking this on a tangent, but the point is that when you gain this kind of control over your mind, it really improves the quality of your life, the way that you experience life, because now you're not at the mercy of your mind, and you're not at the mercy of anything, any external factors. It's you totally who is deciding what you want to do and how you want to react. Of course, things can happen the way they want to happen. That's the way the world works. That's the way life works. But how you experience it and how you react to the situation is very much in your control. So this is the real benefit of meditation. Obviously, saying this at the start wouldn't make sense, but now you understand how meditation can put you in control of your mind and how liberating that is. So this is a huge reason to practice meditation and make it a daily practice. This is actually what will motivate you to go from being a mere dabbler with meditation to being a consistent and true practitioner of meditation. Okay, so what I've told you how to do it, it's very simple. It's not complicated, right? Meditation at the highest level is actually just sitting and doing nothing, right? Because the mind will calm down all on its own. So this is what you need to do. Okay, start with a guided meditation that I'm giving you, and progress from there and practice daily. So we can begin to wrap up this video now. We've covered some main bits. I think the last aspect we need to cover is what to expect in your meditation and how to become consistent. So in terms of what to expect, I think I've already covered this, right? You expect just one thing. You expect that your mind will wander. And when you start meditation, don't expect that you're going to feel calm and peaceful immediately. You're not, because there's so much chatter over here which you're not currently aware of. The way that we live our lives is that we escape all the time. Anytime we have some space between things, immediately we go on our phone, we start scrolling, or we start playing a game, or we start watching Netflix. We are so scared of our own mind that we do not sit alone with our own mind. And because of this, we think that it's all fine up here. It's not. It needs to be cleared, right? Just like you shower every day, this mental clutter needs to come out and needs to be removed every single day. So when you first begin to practice, when you first sit down in silence with yourself, the first thing you'll notice is that there's so much happening here. It's scary. I get it. I've been there. Of course I have. Everything that I'm saying right now is not because I'm sitting on some pedestal, and it's because I've had the weakest mind of all. Back in my days of partying and addiction, my mind was the weakest it could be. I used to give in to everything. I had no self-control whatsoever. So meditation is something that will give you that self-control, but initially you're going to have to expect that, okay, the first few times may not be that enjoyable, and that's okay. It's just like when someone's overweight and they go to the treadmill. Do they expect that they're going to be able to run for half an hour without stopping? Of course not. They'll run for a minute, if that, and be like exhausted. That's the same thing with meditation. It's tough at the start. So what to expect is that expect it to be tough. Don't expect it to be easy. Okay, granted, it doesn't take long for you to start enjoying it and for it to start having an effect, it doesn't actually take long. But in the start, don't expect that the first time you sit for 5 minutes it's going to be golden and peaceful. It's probably not. It's probably not. Okay, so that's just to manage your expectations. Now, the last part is how to become consistent with meditation. This is a huge one. This is where most of us, we fail, you know? And so one thing you can do to be consistent is to start small and start slow. So here's something that I recommend to my coaching clients. When you start, for the first 3 weeks, do not even think that you are practicing meditation or think about the quality of your meditation. You just focus on creating a habit of sitting every day for 5 minutes. And the best time to do this is right before bed, because before bed there is no excuse. Before bed, anyone can sit before bed, right? In fact, you'll probably sleep a little better if you sit for those 5 minutes. So you just cultivate the habit of sitting in silence for 5 minutes before you sleep, okay? And if you can do this, then within 3 weeks, you'll have cultivated the habit of sitting, and now you can slowly start increasing your time. You can go from 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And when you do that and you reach the point in your meditation where actually the mind is settling and it's becoming calm and it's becoming still, then your job is done. Because then when you experience that inner stillness, you are going to want to sit for longer. I can tell you this as a guarantee, because the clients that I work with on like one-on-one, once they get to that stage where they are practicing for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and the mind is settling, that's it. From there, they want to experience that every single day. So they're coming back to the cushion every day and they're sitting for longer periods, quite quickly. So if you just start small, and start slow, it's going to be much easier to become consistent than trying to go too hard too soon. So 5 minutes is our recommendation, but of course that doesn't mean that you don't do the guided meditation. Do the guided meditation anyway, but in terms of you checking your consistency, it's that 5 minute sitting in the evening that you're doing, but still do the guided meditation as well. Then you meditate for 25 minutes every day. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I think we've covered a solid amount of ground over here. We've looked at why you should meditate, what are the benefits of meditation, less stress, better sleep, more clarity. We've looked at how to meditate, right? So I've told you before you go into other types of meditation, the first thing you want to do is to have a calm and concentrated mind. The best place to start with that is to practice meditating on the breath. And I've told you how exactly to do this from the start. And then we've looked at what to expect in your meditation and how to become consistent, right? So I think we've covered a good amount of ground over here. You have everything that you need. If you have questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. But remember, it's in the practice that the change will happen, right? You watch this video once, let it motivate you enough to go and practice, and from now you just practice, focus on practice. Practice is where the results are going to come from, not from watching more videos on YouTube. So please practice. The entire point of this video is to get you on a cushion and get you start practicing. So please do that and download the meditation from the website. Just go to meditatewithrishi.com and download it there. I'll put the link in the description below. That is all. Thank you very, very much for listening. Namaste.